Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to Manasvi YouTube channel, and I'm Indu Kanen, your emotional well-being coach. Today, in this video, I'm going to share something really closer to my heart, and you might think I'm doing a movie review, but it's not that. So, I watched a movie in the theater after a very long time. And this movie stayed with me for various reasons, but not because of the storyline, not because of the performances that I saw in this movie, or not even because of the politics or the action sequence in this movie. The movie I watched is called Parashakthi. It's a Tamil film and it is based on a true historical event. And there's something about it, this movie, that made me to pause and reflect many things. And I'm going to just share that reflection. And probably that might resonate with you and you might find it interesting and whatnot. You can pass it on in the comment. I'm happy to read and get connected with you as well. Now, this movie Parashakti is set in the period after India's independence. Now, the story is often described as being about a language, about rebellious students resisting the rule that made learning Hindi compulsory to get government jobs. But if you watch closely and if you have already watched this movie or after listening to what I got to say, if you want to watch this, see what's in that movie. This story is about not about the language, Hindi at all. What students were really resisting was the compulsion. It came from a very simple and very human aspect, which is we call as fear. The fear is like if we surrender this part of who we are today just to survive, just to get the jobs, or let's just agree to what the authorities are saying, they are then thinking what we will be forced to give up tomorrow. Yeah. So they were fighting for not for comfort or convenience or for any luxury. They were protecting something much deeper. And that is what I call it as identity, their dignity. Like, why they don't want to lose their identity and their dignity, that I'm speaking a different language and this has been imposed on me, and that is compulsory for everyone to learn the new language and then compete with someone who already has got the language proficiency, and it is very hard to get a job. And so why is that? And in that movie, I really liked many dialogues. The authority, one of them would say, we need to create unity in India. And that is where we are coming, saying that Hindi must be learnt by everybody in this country. And then the student replies saying that we got independence. While we fought for the independence, we still had different languages in the country. And the beauty of India is the unity in diversity. So we need to embrace this and not make it as a compulsion thing. And I like that, the dialogue. But anyhow, coming back to this movie and what the deeper reflection I had to share is, so it is, as I mentioned, it's about their identity, their dignity, and their right to exist without being erased. And I think it is very fair. And of course, this is a real time event that happened during that period. And in this movie, they have captured the essence of it, in my opinion. As I said, I'm not a movie review person, but whatever I have observed to my knowledge, I'm just sharing with you. So in this movie, these students were, because they were posing that they were called as Desadrohi, which means they are non-patriots, they are rebels, people supposedly against the nation. So to the authorities, it looked like they are non-compliance, they are disloyalty people, and all because they refused to surrender something that they didn't felt it's belonged to them. And this is a pattern we see again and again. When someone doesn't comply, they are not seen as questioning the system in general. They are seen, like you can see that in the workplace when something is being told, like especially in my workplace, it's 50% you need to come to the work and 50% you can work from home. But then they are not everybody are really enjoying that 50% of working from home and office. They want 60-40. 60% work from home and 40% to work in the office. So But when it has been opposed, it seems like sometimes in terms of government or back then, it's seen as like you're committing a sin. This isn't new, actually. This is how authority protects itself, right? And when self protection is misunderstood as a rebellion or conflict doesn't just arise, it just escalates into a different shape. Now, this doesn't happen only in government or political system. It happens inside homes, inside marriages, inside relationships. So think about it. When a woman asserts herself, when she speaks up for her emotional needs, or says, I can't agree to this because it feels like I'm losing myself, what usually happens? She's been labeled like you're being difficult, you're being rebel, you're just going against the norms, you're disrupting the harmony in the family. But inside her, it's the same fear, isn't it? As the students have in this movie, it's if I don't protect myself here, I will slowly disappear. That is the fundamental fear. And from an NLP perspective, this is really important. When identity feels threatened, the nervous system doesn't hear logic. Yeah, it doesn't hear explanations, it doesn't hear requests, it hears danger. And how it responds, the nervous system, not with rebellion for the sake of being a rebellion person, but with resistance to protect the core self of that individual. So this is why small issues in relationships can suddenly feel like explosions, because it's no longer about what's happening now. It's about the future in the mind it's predicting, a future where values are violated, voice is lost, and the dignity slowly erodes. So many women who outwardly comply to such compulsions or imposing something, they agree, they adjust, but what happens internally is they feel suppressed, they feel suffocated, and eventually they feel the disconnection from themselves, because compliance without choice doesn't feel like peace. It feels like self abandonment. So, the real takeaway from this movie, Parashakti, for me is it's not that we need to be rebel, it's that we need to honor our identity even in small moments. Knowing which part of you is non negotiable. Learn to separate compromise from self erasure. Communicate boundaries as self respect, not defiance. Respond from values and not from fear. Because when identity is honored, cooperation becomes possible. But when identity is threatened, even love starts to feel suffocating. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So if you have any comments about what I have just shared with you all, please do. And if you're Tamil people who are watching this movie, do pass on your comments here. And I'll see you all next time.